Well, clearly a section of the crowd felt that Muster had served a double fault.
Yes, it's not a crowd that is backward in coming forward, is it? I mean, we saw them in that match against Spadia and Ivanisevic, where they really got involved, virtually took over. Same umpire, incidentally, too. But it really doesn't help the hometown boy for them to be whistling during play.
Now, in theory, Courier could have been given a time violation, but I think it would have been a very harsh and unnecessary one, and I think the umpire used his discretion correctly then. That's well played by Muster. He was perhaps lucky to have, in the way he saved those 2 break points, but from deuce an advantage, 2 excellent points, and he now leads 5-2.
Back to the ATP Tour Mercedes Super 9 from Key Biscayne.
Yes, just going back to that time violation rule. The rule exists so that people like, well, no, like nobody in particular, a player doesn't just pretend there's a stone in his or her shoe to win a bit of a delay. But Courier went straight to the side of the court immediately after the point finished, took his shoe off, tipped out anything that was in it to put his shoe back on again, so it was perfectly legitimate. And Courier is a man who takes, generally speaking, up to his full allotted time. I don't know if these balls will be any more acceptable to Muster, but they're new. Courier serving 2-5 down.
The pertinent part of those statistics was the fact that not so much that Muster was seeing Courier getting in a higher percentage of first serves that he normally gets in, but more importantly for Muster, Courier's losing or not making as many first serve points as he does as a rule. So although he's getting them in, he's not winning as high a percentage.
He's starting to do that a bit more now, especially from the right-hand court, serving wide to the Muster backhand and coming in behind it.
It always defeats me why players don't do it more often.
That was how Arthur Ashe masterminded his wonderful Wimbledon final of 75 against Jimmy Connors. That serve from the right-hand court wide to the Connors backhand. He won countless points on that, including match point. That's a glorious backhand from Muster.
Yes, I don't think it's an exaggeration on your part. I suppose the one doubt is that it's not all that big a point, 40 love, but
yes,
who knows. On the other hand, he did seem to play it easily and yet had terrific timing.
Courier's first ace takes him to 3-5.
a man who will average more aces per match than Muster, but who trails here.
Muster 5-3, serving for the first set.
Saturated shorts there, not very absorbent.
He's played that drop shot well.
It was an all-court point, this, by Courier, because he had driven Muster back with some deep shots, even though they were to Muster's forehand, and consequently had Muster on the retreat, and that came unexpectedly. Muster's never at his best when serving for a set or serving for a match. Finds it difficult to nail it down.
It's both those serves going to the Courier forehand. See if Muster serves wide on this occasion. And by Courier standing a bit further out to his left, it actually meant the serve down the middle was a safer serve than it would otherwise be.
Last year in the quarterfinals, when Courier lost to Birch, he had 20 break points against Birch and won 4 of them.
Ooh. Almost a bit too casual on that volley, Muster. Perhaps slightly fortuitous that Courier didn't make more of that backhand after the good anticipation. But Muster now has his first set point. And that'll do. It's taken him 40 minutes. But a very hard one first set as a result of breaking Courier's opening service game. 6-3. Oh. A matter-of-fact expression on Courier's face, but it belies the frustration that he must feel. I mean, he had 4 break points in the first set, but couldn't convert any of them. A number of them he missed with errors. And in the opening game of the second set, he gives Muster 3 break points with really a terrible miss on the drive volley. The whole court was open. That's what he should have done, and that wasn't quite a volley.
No, and it harks back to what I was saying about his strength going to the Muster strength. He's getting irritated now with the ball kids, but I think the irritation really comes from the fact that Muster's returning all his best shots, chiefly because they're going to Muster's forehand, where he can run down so many balls.
Yes, and Courier is unfairly getting irritated with that ball boy. There are good and less good ball boys around the world. I think the best I've seen are at the French Open and Wimbledon. And we were talking about the French Open yesterday, Fru, and I thought that point you made about so many players that could win it. I mean, it's one of the most exciting French Opens in years, I think. I mean, either of these two players could win it, although Courier not in this form. Bruguera's looking good. Sampras must have a good chance. We've got Moya, Costa. Very exciting.
It should be. I'd pick Courier earlier in the year just because I felt particularly good form.
Muster 1-love, second set. He's played that once too often, and he gave that far too much air.
15 long.
Yes, Muster on his heels, but as you say, it was a lob drop shot from Courier. Clay, it mightn't have bounced quite as high, but even on that surface, Muster would have got to it.
He'd have slid into it. I'm fascinated just to see how players who've done so well on hard do on the clay. The implication is that they ought to do well, especially as most of them are originally clay court specialists. But I just feel that we might see a slightly different set of performances. The European clay court season begins in 2 weeks in Estoril. Well, a week on Monday, actually. There's an Asian hard court season that's continuing. And Pete Sampras will be playing in Asia. But the only 2 clay courts he's playing before the French are the Italian Open, which starts on the 12th of May, and the World Team Cup in Düsseldorf a week later. Well, Muster has not been happy with the balls all week.